I was pregnant. Y'all, it's been like 3 weeks since I've done a story time, but I am back today. So I'm gonna go ahead and give a trigger warning out before I start today's story time because it's very important that I do that. I wanna start off by saying Happy Women's Month. We're coming to the end, and I felt like this story time today would be a perfect story time for celebrating Women's Month and just, you know, celebrating us, right? So this is a trigger warning. If you are somebody that is offended by women's rights, reproductive rights, choices that we make with our bodies, you know, pregnancy, dating someone, all that kind of stuff, then I would kindly ask you to exit to the left. Now, if you go ahead and leave your comments down below and they're a little bit airy, disrespectful, etc., you'll be blocked from my channel. So I'm just gonna put that out there right now. This is a sensitive topic. This is a sensitive story time for me and probably for someone out there watching this story time. So I wanna just make it a comfortable zone, a comfortable place to have an open conversation and talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's story time. Again, keep an open mind about this one and the topic we're discussing. I do have a half wig on today, guys. This video should be coming out very soon. I do have my clips in because I have my natural hair and I had to like do like a little twist so it could blend. I do have my little baby ears out, whatever, forehead on 10,000, but we're working with it. We're gonna do a makeup look with my big forehead. We're gonna express my big forehead today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, this hair video will be out soon. It's a half wig from ISEE hair, very pretty. I'm considering wearing this for the spring and summertime because baby, it's simple, it's easy, and my hair blends well. I'll show you guys how I blended it. It came out very cute, very nice. So yeah, so lashes are done, brows are in place. I did go ahead and do some primer and stuff like that. You can probably see like a little bit of an ash look on me. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. I do have some new makeup products though, guys. So I will show you guys the makeup products as I go along, and I'll add some new links down below so you guys can go ahead and purchase the new makeup products that I purchased. So yeah, so go ahead and grab yourself a drink, a snack, or whatever it is, and let's jump into today's story time. So we're gonna do like a little shadow look today, nothing crazy, something cutesy, something demure. I'm not sure what I'm doing today. I might go out and get like a little dessert or something later, or dinner because I don't have any dinner plans or like anything to eat. My honey's working a 16-hour shift today, so I won't see her till midnight anyway, so it's gonna be solo double dime day. So let's look cute, right? So this story time, guys, takes place when I was the ripe age of 19 years old. So you guys know around this time I was dating that Haitian dude. Y'all remember that Haitian dude that I've been talking to you guys about in a few of my story times? Yeah. So this dude, around this time I was in community college. This was the first guy that I ever gave the V card up to. Like when I tell y'all I was young, this was my first time, didn't know anything, and he was the first person that I gave it up to. So he was kind of like my first, like, you know, experience with a lot of things. So me coming from a Caribbean household, we didn't have conversations with my mom, even at 19, like grown woman, you know, even though I was still living at her house, we didn't have conversations about stuff like, you know, like sex, birth control, and all that kind of stuff. So around that time, I was going to my local clinic for all my OBGYN visits. And around that time, obviously I started birth control because I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna get pregnant. Like this is not something on my plan in general. So I already knew that kind of concept of it. You know, you have general health in high school. So you know like the basics, like if you're gonna be, you know, involving yourself in intercourse, you either need to wear condoms or you need to go ahead and get on some birth control. So I went ahead and got on some birth control. Now, the first set of birth control that I started on was pills. And pills has to be, in my opinion, the worst type of birth control. I just got yeast infections. I just got like a lot of weird things happening with the birth control that I was on. And even though, you know, with the side effects, you just go back and your doctor change it. I don't know what it is. Just the birth control pills did not really work that well for me. I was getting nauseous from them. I just wasn't feeling well on birth control pills. So I was still taking them. I was being very precautious. And again, me being young and dumb back then, I was raw dogging it with this dude. Like I just, like an idiot. Again, in my head around that time, he wasn't really messing around with anybody, so I thought, or whatever. So I wasn't too, you know, like, you know, worried about anything. And again, I was young and stupid, 19, thinking like, oh, you know, this is my man, I'm not worrying about it, like nothing's gonna happen. You know, you think around that time that like the pull-out method is such an ideal thing to do, like it's gonna work well, it's gonna be 100%, which it's not. Again, but I was on birth control around that time, so I wasn't too worried about anything. So I can remember this day so clear just because I remember the way that week went and the specific day when I conceived my first child. Now, I don't know what it was that week. I was missing birth control pills. Like I would skip one and the next day I would kind of like try to take two, but I was messing it up so bad that I kind of like tried to like, you know, catch up. And at that point, your body kind of realizes, like we're not protected or whatever. But again, me being young, fast, and dumb, like I was just always into like, you know, I just want to fuck stuff, kind of like that. So that's how my mentality was back then. So if I missed a pill, I just felt like I could just catch up and I'll be fine, which is not smart. You're gonna get knocked up that way. So I remember it was like a rainy day outside. I'm not gonna get into details because that's gross, but it was like a rainy, kind of like muggy day outside. The dude had like this 1994 Honda Civic, and it was like the old school one. As a matter of fact, I think it was about 1990. It was like that old Honda Civic, like the old school one. And of course, with no dignity, with no respect, in that car, in that parking lot, in that church parking lot, getting it popping. Like, and I don't know what it is. I can remember that day because after finding out, that was the day that I actually like conceived that child. So I remember that day clear, and I remember that week because I was fumbling on all of my birth control pills. I was not on time with any of this stuff. So, you know, at that point I knew that I was, you know, at that point I didn't think anything of it. I just thought that my body, you know, I got this, you know, I've missed a pill before too, and you know, but I've just taken it and I've been fine. So that was what I thought in my head. But I just remember that day because that was the day that I conceived. It was just a messy day. I was out being a thotty and just stupid. So the week prior, not the week prior, maybe like I think it was like a month to 2 months prior to me finding out, me, my sisters, and one of my good friends was at the house and we were playing Truth or Dare. Now this is a good friend from childhood. You guys don't see her nowadays. Like, you know, I haven't seen her in a while, but you know, maybe I'll do a story time about that. But anyways, she was a good friend of mine when we grew up. I feel like if I seen her right now, like we would still be cool. That type of friend, right? So around this time we were playing Truth or Dare at the house, and for some reason we had a whole bunch of pregnancy tests, which I don't know why, because around that time, why would I have a pregnancy test? I feel like we just got them just in case, right? Just in case. So I had a couple of pregnancy tests at the house and we were playing Truth or Dare. So we told my friend to go in the bathroom and take a pregnancy test. And around that time she had a whole dude. She was, you know, in a relationship and stuff like that. So you were just joking. We really didn't know anything. We were just literally joking. So she goes into the bathroom and then like she wasted time because we're like, oh, just wait the whole time that you're in there with the test so then you know the results and you come out and tell us. Y'all, she went into that bathroom, she came out, and it seemed like she was in a rush. And like she's like gathering her stuff, and then she shows us the test and it says pregnant. When I tell you, me and my sister sat there and we were like, this was supposed to be a joke. Like this was supposed to be fun. Like, what is going on? When I tell y'all, literally pregnant. The test came back pregnant. She picked up her stuff and walked out the house. And we were just sitting there like, yo, what the hell? So it was about a week or two later, and my mom came into the room with me and my sisters were just sitting there watching TV. And my mom comes with her, you know, as all the Haitians would do, Caribbean people. My mom goes, oh, somebody here is pregnant. Somebody here is pregnant. I had a dream last night about fish or something like that sort. And me and Dan and Dar, we're just sitting there laughing. We're like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody here is knocked up. Like, what are you talking about? So we're just kind of like, what is she talking about? Like, nobody here is pregnant. Because, like, I didn't know anything. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, like, what are you talking about? So me and Dar, we're the ones that's, like, you know, getting it popping. Dan, angel at that point. Dan's been an angel for a long time. So me and Dar just sitting there like looking at each other like, real, you? Yeah. And I'm like, no, like I'm fine, right? Didn't think anything of it. So I kind of let that go. This was my mom giving us that silent Caribbean Haitian mom, kind of like you know, nobody better, like that kind of stuff, right? So she wasn't like, she was just saying it as kind of like, you know, giving us like the heads up, like something is up. I don't know who it is, but I'm gonna find out type of situation. So I didn't think anything of it because I'm like, she's bugging. Like, ain't nobody here pregnant. So I don't know what she's saying here. I'm just gonna ignore her. So we literally like let her do that. Next day when I brought business, she didn't say nothing. She wasn't acting funny. So we're kind of like, okay, whatever, right? So I'm going in now with the Juvia's Place setting powder and shortbread. Now, y'all know I was using Laura Mercier in the one size, but I wanted to try this one out from Juvia's Place, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I like it. I also did get the Juvia's Place puff as well too. This one's like a sharper edge one. This one's actually great too, so testing things out. So I'm just gonna apply the powder right here for now because I'm gonna add a little bit of my tinted moisturizer to kind of blend me all the way through. So I'm just gonna add a little powder right here for now. So in good old bored fashion, me and my sisters decide that we're gonna go ahead and play a good old truth and dare game, truth or dare game again. So they went ahead and dared me to go to the bathroom and do a pregnancy test. So again, this was like maybe like 2 weeks after my mom came in the room with that foolery stuff she was talking. But so again, in fact, and you know, just regular stuff. I ain't seen nothing wrong with it. I ain't saying nothing. You know, I ain't think nothing of it because like me, nah. Like Dom, me, Miss always trying to be like perfect. Like it can ever be me type stuff. Oh no, honey, it's not gonna be me. So I go ahead and I go into the bathroom and I take the test. And again, like I said to you guys, I didn't think anything of it because like, why would that happen to me? Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just, again, when you think like things like that can't happen to you, they definitely will happen to you. Trust me, they will. So I didn't think anything of it. And I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, I'll take it. Like, no big deal. So I go into the bathroom, and mind you, this is the clear blue test. So y'all know y'all getting it with the pregnant or not pregnant. And it wasn't the one that tells you how many weeks you were. It just said pregnant. So I take it, I sit in the bathroom, and then like I see that it says pregnant, and I literally walked out. I literally walked out, and I look at Dar and Dan. I'm like, oh, it's pregnant. The first thing that comes out Dan's mouth, oh no, we didn't got no room in this house for this baby. In good Dan fashion, good Pisces fashion, she goes, oh hell no, you better figure this out because we can't have no other kid in this house. It's too crowded. And I'm just sitting there like, I mean, I wasn't mad about it. It was super funny. Like, we all were laughing. But I'm just kind of, you know how you're like numb to it? I just sat there and I was like, like, I just, you know how you just don't, like, I couldn't imagine that this is happening to me. So I'm just sitting there like, just taking it in. And I'm like, you know, Dan's making these jokes, you know, stirring the pot. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, wow. Okay, so what do I have to do now? So I immediately decided, okay, let me text this dude and tell him I'm coming by the house because I need to have a conversation with him. So that's the first thing that came to my head was like, let's go have a conversation with the father of this child that I'm carrying because things just got really serious. Again, at this time I was actually dating this man, like he was my boyfriend. So this wouldn't be a tough conversation to have because like we're dating, we're fucking. You know that there's a huge possibility that if you do this, this is gonna happen. So I wasn't worried about having a conversation. It was just more of a shock. Like I still was in complete shock because how? But then again, that's when you start calculating things out like, wait a minute. That Honda Civic's in the church parking lot. That's what happened. So I get into my car, guys, and I'm driving to this man's house. And again, I'm like really numb to it. I feel like when things happen to me, like in the beginning, I stay very quiet and I just kind of like, you know, process everything and have like this internal conversation. The Capricorns tap in. Like maybe it's part of ADHD too. I need to like have a moment of silence. And when I mean a moment of silence, the world has to be silent. I drove to that man's house. It was about a 15 to 20 minute drive in silence, y'all. In silence, because I'm like, wait a minute, like, what am I gonna do? Like, first of all, my mom is going to kill me, honey. Like my mom is about to end my life immediately because she already saw it in her dream. Like she already seen it. She knows it's true. And I bet, and you know what's funny? I felt like her eye was on me mainly. Like you know how you know, like her eye wasn't burning from my older sister, but it was burning on me. So I feel like she knew in her dream that they explained to her that it was me in the dream, you know? Ancestors came down and said, hello, you about to be a grandmother soon, right? So I'm in the car and I had that deep moment of silence, that whole entire 15 to 20 minute ride, because baby, I needed to figure out what I was gonna do. Like low key, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was kind of like, wow, like oh my god, like the idea, like I could be a mom. Like, it was actually really cute. Again, because, you know, I'm young, I'm stupid, I'm immature and stuff like that. But one thing about me, I always saw clarity as well, too. Because I knew that I wasn't anywhere near where I needed to be in life. And I felt like I was almost there. Do you get what I mean? Like, I felt like I didn't have clarity on life there, but I also felt like it was almost there for me. Like, it was going to happen for me soon. So it was kind of like that kind of like tugging of the forces of like, oh my God, mom, dom, you know, like have a baby, like stuff like that. And again, I didn't put other things into consideration. Like, does this guy want this baby? Like, would he be a good father? I dated the guy for maybe like 2 years at that point. The beginning of the relationship or whatever it was very like rocky, very messy, very untrustworthy and stuff like that. So, you know, I wasn't putting those things into consideration either. I was just looking at the fact that, oh my God, like I'm preggies, like, oh my God, like this experience and stuff like that was going to be kind of cool without actually putting all the other parts together. And I think that's one thing that I had to really sit and think about. Because, you know, you only think about what you want. Like, are you even like in the position to be in this position? And I was kind of letting all the glitter and glam like overshadow the fact that I really was like pregnant. Like, I wasn't looking at it as a mature adult, you know? Like, I was looking at it as like not in the sense where I needed to calculate. I needed to calculate things out more than how I was perceiving it, if you guys kind of know what I mean. So I drive to this man's house. And I tell him to come outside. So he comes outside. And again, I didn't want to make it into it's a serious conversation. And I honestly didn't really know how to say anything. But I was just like, you know what? I just need to get it out and just say it. Because like, it is what it is. Like, like I didn't do this by myself. Like, we did this together. So let's figure it out. So I ended up telling him like, hey, I took a pregnancy test and I'm pregnant or whatever. And again, I had no signs. I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't have any signs or symptoms. I think maybe I was sleeping a little bit long, but it was nothing like that. You would be, you know, you get out of school, whatever. Like, I was going to community college, you know, I had a long day or whatever. So of course I'm gonna go home and take a nap, you know. So I didn't really see anything that was like odd to me. So I just, you know, I didn't see anything different. I didn't notice anything different. So I go and I tell him, and then the first thing that comes out this man's mouth was, you know we can't keep it, right? Like, the first thing that comes out this man's mouth is, you know we can't keep it, right? When I tell you guys that my heart got so crushed just from that one line, and that was the only thing that was the first thing that came out of his mouth. Oh, you know we can't keep it, right? When I tell you guys that he like really shot me down, like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, the little spark in my heart just blew up when he said that. I'm like, oh damn, like, you're not gonna ask me if I'm okay. You're not gonna ask me how I feel. You're not gonna ask me any of that kind of stuff. When I tell y'all that really like hurt my feelings, like really hurt my feelings, I should have left him right then and there for that. Again, stayed along for whatever. But just thinking about it over the years, it's like that's how you say something to someone that's just not what I expected. And you know, again, situations like that helped me along the way I feel like because this was the first person that I dated and the first person I was with and went through like, you know, major things like this experience made me realize that I need to just take care of things by myself and not to rely on people emotionally or for people to sympathize and empathize with you, because some people are just not going to give it. Like, I was not expecting that from the dude. And again, this, you know, prepared me not to expect anything from anybody, because when you start expecting things from people and they don't deliver it the way you want it, you're just let down. So I feel like this was one of those first instances where I kind of learned a lot of things about, like, girl, you got to do this for yourself. Don't expect anything from people, because when I tell y'all, he really broke a little spirit in me when he said that to me. Because like, I understand that, you know, this probably isn't a child that we should keep and stuff. We're not ready and stuff like that. But the compassion and this empathy was just not there. That's not how that's not what I thought it would be like, you know? Even if we couldn't keep the child, you could have at least been a little bit gentler with me, like, especially because this is something new to me and I'm experiencing it. regardless, I understand, like, you know, it's the child was our child together, but I'm the one that has to hold the child, and it was just not what I expected. Like, even that's already making me feel like a little like choked up, because when I tell you guys, it hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings so bad. Am I weird that I don't do my lips last? I kind of do my lips in between. I'm just putting like a black eyeliner pencil around. I have that e.l.f. lip oil. When I tell you guys, that's what's been on my lips this entire time. I absolutely love this lip oil. It is the color Honey Talks. Popping. It just leaves your lips super moisturized. And I'm adding a little bit of this kind of mauve color from Ruby Kisses. This is the color Rosy Brown. I love this when I get this at the beauty supply store. I kind of like a mauve-y type of lip. So something like that. And then I'm going in with the ColourPop So Juicy lip pencil. And this is in the color Slay. It's just like a brown mocha color. It's like really pretty. Look at that. So pretty. So I use that as well too, just for kind of like a, it's kind of like a nude lip for a woman of color. I don't know, like a nude, not like a butter nude lip. Like, no, it kind of is like a kind of like a mauve-y nudie lip. I love it. I think it's like the perfect color for a girl, cocoa girl like me. So I was really stupid back then. So like an idiot, I ended up going to the hospital, like to the emergency room. And I told them like, oh, I didn't feel good or whatever, because I just wanted to get like extra confirmation or whatever. I don't know why I did this, which was so stupid. I'm really trying to figure out why I went to the hospital for this. But I went to the emergency room. They confirmed that I was pregnant or whatever. And they actually told me that I was about like 9 weeks pregnant, which was, you know, kind of cool. So then they ended up referring me to go see like OBGYN or whatever. Again, I don't know why I went to the hospital. I just went to the hospital and said, oh, I don't feel good. I think I might be pregnant, some type of situation, which is, again, I don't know why I did that. Why did I go to the hospital? I already took like 7 clear blue tests. I think mentally in my head, I was trying to make it go away. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but I wanted to make sure that it was like, I felt like the hospital was the only way for me to like prove like indefinitely that I was pregnant. So I was like, let me go to the hospital and see, like, let me go to the hospital and, you know, let them run tests to make sure like definitively I'm pregnant. And again, did all that and it came back positive again. And they actually did a urine test on me. So there was no running away from it. My anxiety was running wild, and I confirmed at that point that I indeed was knocked up. So at that point, we already kind of agreed that like this wasn't going to be something that I was going to do. So I had to get an appointment referral to go see someone at Planned Parenthood. So I made an appointment with Planned Parenthood, and they kind of like did the ultrasound and stuff like that. And around that time, I was actually 9 weeks pregnant. So I was a whole like 9 weeks. Like I was like almost near the end of the first trimester, and I had no idea that this entire time that I was that far along. Now, obviously around this time, certain things started to happen. Like I started to, you know, I was starting to get like a little bit tired, and I was starting to be like snacky a lot. Like around like this time, I started to notice that I was kind of like more hungry. Like I wanted something to eat, like little things like that. And I was like, what the hell? And around this time, I was being very cautious because I knew my mom was thinking she knew someone was pregnant. So I was kind of being very cautious, because around the time that I went to Planned Parenthood, I had to wait maybe like another week or two to actually come in for the appointment. Now, the appointment that I had was not like a surgical. I was still within the time to do the pill. So they just had to, I don't know what it was, but I had to come back like a week or two after. So within that kind of like week or two, I was trying to be very cautious, not like being too sleepy, not eating too much and stuff like that. But again, she had already had her eyes on me, so she already knew like something was up. So I did my best around that time to kind of conceal it or whatever. But again, I kept, it was kind of like one of those kind of like, just very kind of like dreadful times, just because I was still knocked up at the time. I had to wait for my appointment so I can go ahead and do the take the pill. And around this time, like I'm in this body, like, and it was weird because like I'm pregnant, like what's going on, like what am I gonna do? And even though I didn't have an attachment to the child that was in my stomach, it was just like a really like it was like just like a really weird time for me. Even though I was still dating this guy and stuff like that, like, and I was still going to his house, we were still like having relations and stuff like that. Even the fact that he said to me like straight off the bat, like, you know, we're not keeping this baby, right? Even that, a couple of days before I had to go take the pill, this dude decides to like grab my stomach and like hold my stomach. And like, when I tell y'all, I was so angry that day and like kind of like hurt. Like, you already told me like this wasn't gonna happen. Like, now why are you trying to make it seem like it's something like you care about and stuff like that? And it just kind of gave me like a little bit of an ill vibe. Like, you're almost trying to have some type of attachment to the fetus, this embryo that is not going, that you already dismissed from day one. You already said day one that it wasn't gonna happen. So I felt some type of way. I really did. Like, why are you trying to be all sentimental and holding my stomach now when you don't want no ties to this child whatsoever? Like, it already came out your mouth immediately that you don't want the child. So I don't know, I felt some type of way about that, y'all. I really, really did. Like, I felt some type of way about that because like what? Like, why, right? So the day of the appointment that I had, we ended up going to the place. Now, the place I went to, even though I had gotten an appointment before, I was waiting for my insurance to kind of clear through. So the day of the appointment, I actually, went to the place. There was protesters outside, which was also another thing that I've experienced for the first time. I had no idea that they were outside protesting. So that was the first time that I went for the pill, and then had the experience of having to go in and deal with that, which was kind of crazy. Like, I never experienced nothing like that in my life. So I go in, and of course, I go in alone because dude decided that he wanted to sit in the car and wait, which also was kind of like heartbreaking too. We're in this together. Why wouldn't you come in with me and at least hold my hand and support me through the process? Like, I just didn't understand why that wasn't something that he could figure out in his head. Like, let me go in with her. She's my girlfriend. She's going through this. I should be there to support her. It's not something he thought about. So I go inside, and I'm waiting for my appointment. And I remember sitting next to this couple. I felt like I'd known this man. He's like an Italian guy. I feel like I've seen him before in Stamford, Connecticut. I don't know. I feel like I knew this guy. So I'm sitting there, and they're like arguing. And obviously she's there for, to get the procedure done or something done. And he's saying to her, and like she's crying, and he's saying to her, he's like, oh, like, suck it up, like, you have to do this, like, we're doing this. And she's like, but I don't want, and it, like, I sat there and like I was just sinking, like, how am I here? Like, why is this happening? Like it was just like the craziest thing ever. So I sit there, they call me, and it's my turn to come up. And at that point, my insurance didn't go through. So they were like to me that they can't do it today because my insurance didn't clear. So I did all that for no reason, had to walk out. And again, got into that car, and that sinking feeling like, is this shit really freaking happening? So once we left at that point, I knew I didn't want to go back to that place just because there was too many protesters outside. It just made me feel uncomfortable. And again, I had to go in there alone, so I wanted to do something different. So luckily, I was able to find someone for maybe 2 days later that I can go in. The building I went to for this Planned Parenthood was very discreet. You couldn't even tell that was Planned Parenthood. There was nobody outside. So I was like, it was like in an office building, so you wouldn't know. So I love that there was no signs outside. It was discreet AF. So I went into that one. I was able to get the appointment 2 days later, and then I got the pill. Again, I went in by myself. I did all the paperwork by myself. I supported myself. I was super hyper independent even back then by myself, just because around that time I realized that you're gonna have to do these things alone. Like, and as crazy as it sounds, to be in those situations, to mentally prepare at 19 years old to realize that you can't rely on anybody. You're gonna have to get this done by yourself. So I made sure I took care of it. I crossed my T's, dotted my I's, and I went in there and did what I had to do for myself. So I was able to get it that day. Obviously, I don't know if anyone on here knows how the pill goes. It's a whole process the night through. It's pretty intense. You go through the stages of labor in a way, but it's much faster just because it's a quick in and out procedure. But it is super painful. The same contractions that you get during a regular, real full on labor is the same contractions you'll get with the actual pill. So anyone that, it's painful. Like, it is extremely painful. So I had to go through that entire thing alone at the house. Good old Dan came in. I think Dan was in high school still. She was in her senior year. I think she was in her senior year around this time. Good old Dan came home, kind of supported me a little bit through it, because it was a screaming, belching, clenching, biting a pillow type of thing. So actual labor, okay? Let's just put it out there, because I feel like people just don't realize that it is, especially if you're doing the pill, it is very, very hard alone. No support, but again, it is what it is. And again, with all these things, it just made me so hyper independent throughout the years, just because I just felt like I've been through too many things where no one was there to support me, and I had to figure it out by myself. That's why I do the things I do for myself, because I'm not about to sit here and wait for anybody to come help me or save me, because they won't. Okay. So a couple days later, I guess I didn't do good of a cleanup job at the house. I'm pretty sure I threw most of the stuff away, like the towels and stuff, because again, this is a very intense at-home thing. Again, don't take it like that. I know some of y'all think like, oh, it's no big deal, I'm gonna go home and take the... Y'all, it is intense. So I guess I didn't do that much of a cleanup job. A few days later, like 2 days later, my mom comes to the room, and I'm just chilling in the room, hanging out, whatever, mind my business, you know, a recovering girl, just hanging out in the room, just chilling. And after you take the pill, you do end up having your period for like 6 weeks, just like a normal delivery. You still end up having the same 6 weeks. Again, I'm telling you, it's the same, you know, it's not the same thing, but you still have, your body still has to go through the same procedure as if you gave birth. You get what I'm saying when I say that? So it's the same thing, okay? So at that point, I still had my period. I had my period. It was a little heavy, but you know, I had my pads and stuff like that. I didn't even think about it too. She would have calculated like, oh, how she got her period quickly like that. But again, she went through the garbage, I guess, and she saw like, you know, the materials, because there was towels I had to cut up, you know, I had to layer them towels up, because it is intense, especially by yourself. It is intense. So she comes up to me, and you know what? I had a conversation with her about this. Like, this is, again, y'all, Caribbean parents, y'all got to do better when it comes to certain things. I love my mom to death. Like, you know, we can have open conversations about this now, and you know, just get over it and stuff like that. But like, Haitian parents, Caribbean parents, we really got to do better when it comes to communicating to our kids. So after threatening us if we got pregnant and stuff like that, and like threatening us up prior to her even having the dream and stuff, like, you threaten us all the time about it. Don't come to the house pregnant. You come back to the house pregnant. You guys are getting out, stuff like that. She comes to me and she goes to me, oh, why didn't you tell me? In tears too, guys, in full-blown tears, which pissed me off too, because what you crying for? I'm the one that had to go through this. So she comes to me in full-blown tears, and she was like, oh, why did you do it? She was like, oh, you could have came to me. I knew you were pregnant. Like, why did you come to me? We could have figured it out. Y'all know that I started crying, because it's like, you waited till after I went through hell and back to try to come to me when it's past it, and say to me, oh, I could have talked to you. When y'all come to us with those intimidating voices, when y'all sit inside the OBGYN's appointment with y'all hands crossed like this at us, and intimidate the hell out of us, and y'all think that we're gonna come out and tell y'all anything? Not when y'all do stuff like that. Can I get an amen? Because like, what? When y'all come at us like that, why would you think that we're gonna openly come to you, hey mom, guess what? I got knocked up, oh my God. No, it is so hard to go to a Caribbean parent. I'll probably say an African parent too, period, because we all, you know, we function the same. We got the same morals, right? It's hard for us to go to them and just be like, hey, by the way, I'm knocked up. It's not that. It's not, y'all. So it just pissed me off, because it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she didn't know, like, you know, my mom's not Americanized like that. I'm sure she never had like taken the pill before. I know she didn't know those like little details, but baby, I went through the ringer. You could have saved me that. Even though at the end of the day, it wasn't the right time and place anyways for me to have that child. So I knew that, but it was the fact that she tried to come to me and, you know, try to show sympathy and try to give me that speech of like, we could have figured it out. We could have figured it out before you threatened me. You should have came a little bit nicer. And that's why I say, like, even me wanting to raise kids in the near future, like, the things that happened to me growing up, or the things that were said to me growing up, I most certainly will not be using those things in my kids. I'm not gonna instill fear in you so that you don't come to me, you don't talk to me. And I think that's one thing that I always think, like I always say, like, you know, that's one thing with my mom. She instilled fear in us a lot when we were younger, which try to put us on the straight and narrow, even though I done some stupid stuff along the way. But that's not the way to communicate to your kids, because when things actually happen, they're gonna go behind your back and do stuff. They're gonna go behind your back and fix it up by themselves without telling you. And that's exactly what I did. So it did hurt my feelings because you coming to me after the fact. If you would have had that energy while it was going on, I would have probably not reconsidered, but I would have just felt more comfortable. I'd have had somebody go with me to the appointment. I would have had someone to hold my hand throughout the whole procedure, and I didn't. I was by myself. So I feel like I always held that, like, you know, frustration against her for that, because like the time and the place for you to come and say that wasn't then. It should have been like when I found out, or when you had the gym, you could have just came to me instead of coming with threats. You feel me? So yeah, so that was basically that. Like, you know, we talked about it. I cried a little bit because I cried because I'm like, yo, that's like even though I was still gonna go through with it anyways, I just felt like that was a conversation that she should have just came to me and talked to me about. So after this, guys, I ended up, because you know you have to go through the 6 weeks, postpartum 6 weeks, and I had to wait like 6 weeks to go on birth control. And the first thing I did, babes, is I got on the IUD. I got on Mirena, and this was when Mirena first came out, when it was popular. So I was on birth control for 10 years. From the age of 20 to the age of 30, I've been on birth control. I think I removed my birth control. I did remove my birth control in 2022 when I left the dust I was living with, and now, so I don't need birth control. I'm in a gay relationship. I'm in a lesbian relationship, so it's not necessary for me over here, babe. So won't be going back to it. So you already know this is the finished look. Let me know what you guys think. I'm actually rocking with this half wig. I feel like the blend off. Look at the blend right there. My hair is short, but look at this blend. It looks so freaking good compared to, like, it matches the curl to the T, babes. And y'all see my little leave out right here? Yeah, wig wear. This is my hair, honey. Absolutely gorgeous. I'll leave a link down below for this one, guys, and a coupon code. This is from ISEE Hair. Absolutely gorgeous. You know, I'm gonna wear my little hair out, do what I gotta do with it. Whatever works for me. And I love this. I just think it's super cute. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's story time. It is a little bit of like a tough topic, a soft spot to talk about. But again, I felt like it was a nice subject to talk about in today's story time. Sometimes I do think about what my life would be like. Now, by now, I'd probably had a child that would be like about like 13, 14 years old, I think it is. About 14 years old, which is kind of crazy to think. But I always say that everyone's book is already written. And when your book is written, you always have options in the book. So you can go this way or you can go that way. And I think God makes it that way, not to punish you, but to allow you to grow in whatever way you need to grow in. And you kind of get what I mean? I don't think God is going to punish you for choosing this way or that way. And I'm not going to say the right or wrong way, because there is no right and wrong way. It's whatever works for you and how your path's going to go. At the end of the day, everyone's book is already written. You just have the option to switch a few things up, but it's up to you. So, again, I wasn't in the right place, and it was just not a good situation for me anyway. So I already had my plans, in general. So do I think my life would have been different if I would have had a child by now? Probably not, because again, I was always supposed to be here. So regardless of how I got here, I would be here anyway. So that's how I look at it. But again, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's story time. Happy Women's Month to everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed the month of March this year. It's been a hectic year, but we're still thriving, we're still rocking, and we're still moving. I want to go ahead and say that we need to start and to continue to protect women's rights and reproductive rights, and giving us the option to do what we want, when we want, and when we choose to do something, we don't get criticism or hate for the things that we choose to do with our bodies and our mind and our soul. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's story time. Make sure you go ahead and run through that playlist, subscribe, and share this video, and also hit that notification bell. And I'll catch you guys in a later one. Bye.